I represent the Yay area.
Hey everybody, welcome to Soundcheck, where I check the beats to see if the flow is proven. DJ Ron, the classic DJ from the Bay, back at you once again. Another episode, Soundcheck with DJ Ron or DJ Ron Soundcheck. First of all, I'd like to just get started by giving a big shout out to my most recent subscribers. Y'all know who y'all are: General Eagle, Jabbar, Leslie Brown, and also Zelda Jennings. And then much love to supportive subscribers, Maya Cowens. And thank you for dropping the comments and showing a lot of support, not just on this platform, but over my DJ career and everything else. So here we go, y'all. We're going to get started. Full disclosure, this is a special sound check where there's no playback today, just a raw breakdown. Sometimes you got to rank them and tell them like it is. You know what I'm saying? And normally I like to run the music live with y'all, but since the channel's monetized now, again, shout out to all y'all for being here. You know how the copyright system could be iffy. You understand what I'm saying? So today I'm breaking down 2 full albums based on my notes and my rankings. Trust me, the breakdown's still going to be fire, though. We're going to let you know what it is. It's a sound proven, what them beats is beating like, and is they really saying something when they talk in the microphone, all right? So I'm going to get into it. We're going to break down 2 albums once again from 2 artists. First one, the most controversial, Cardi B. I mean, come on now. This young lady has come a long way from You Know Where I'm at, where I be. You know where I be. How she said, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Please. And that was kind of a weak but strong bar at the same time, right? So overall, she has made her second album, and to me, it has like the LL Cool J Bad, that bigger and different feeling to it. You know, she's popping the collar real hard. Those of us who, remember timeless classes like that LL Cool J, that second album, y'all know LL came stomping on the scene. And for her to have waited, about 8 years now or something like that to drop her second album, I'm told? Because I'm not really a fan. I just play what's hot and what's, and just drop what's not. Got to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? She really been doing her thing. And I think she came back, like I said, bigger and deafer. She's stronger than ever. Magnet is the first song that really got me, 10.0 on the flow, you know what I mean? When she said she got her baby daddy acting like a baby mama. Yeah, that was crazy, right? Another song on there is Bodega Baddie. I gave it a 2.5 on the beat. To me, it was a low point because of the coastal thing. It might be the reason, but I just couldn't hear the lyrics because I couldn't get past that beat. You know what I'm saying? So, however y'all feel about it, much respect to the Latin community, of course, wasn't my type of flavor. You know what I'm saying? So, but then we got into the next song, or another song. It's called Salute. Beat, definitely 9.0. Man, I mean, it was slapping. You know what I'm saying? 10.0 on her flow. You know what I mean? And I give a salute to her because this was her bounce back, you know what I mean, from the Bodega Baddies, you know what I mean? When she said that vision board, you know what I mean? It's like, what she say? She like a Honda because my stuff's. What she say? I'm like a Honda because my stuff's in the cord. I was like, oh yeah, another bar. You know what I mean? Next song's 8.5 on the beat and 7.0. It sounds like something Jeezy would have made as opposed to a female rapper, but that's a whole nother discussion. It seems like her and Kehlani could be singing to each other. No disrespect, nothing like that, but it just didn't give that feeling like. Maybe if it was a lady and a man duo, it'd have sounded that much better. Man of Your Word could have been left off the album because of her previous line on that Magnet. It just wasn't. You know what I mean? Although I see where she was going, I don't think she really made it there. So she didn't take me with her on that one. All right. But then again, men should be a man of their word. So, shout out to her. Got to give it up to her. Then we get back to Outside, which I believe I covered that on an earlier episode of Soundcheck when it was back when it was reaction analysis. You know what I mean? And that's when I first found out about copyrights. And we weren't even monetized yet. So, again, I know, especially the heavy hitters like Cardi, they serious about their content, and they should be. But remember, this page is here to, or this channel is here to promote the music. You know what I mean? So we're going to continue to talk about it. 9.5 on the beat, a 9 on the flow. You know what I mean? Straight up 9.0 on the flow. It's ready for the club, but the bars for the headphones, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool, too, you know what I mean? The shot at LeBron was kind of flagrant and foul, if you ask me. Although I'm not a fan of LeBron, I got to give respect where respect due. He and his wife are royalty. You know what I mean? They're black love, royalty. a great example to follow. You know what I'm saying? So I just couldn't really get with that, but still, over and all, great song though. Gotta give her her props. Then she moves on to the next one, Pretty and Petty. Oh my goodness, Pretty and Petty. 10.0 on the beat. Whoever had produced it, I don't remember. I wasn't taking those kind of notes down or whatever. But a 10.0, whoever you are. And then a 9.0 on the beat. You know what I'm saying? On the flow. 10.0 on the beat, 9.0 on the flow. It's definitely ready for the clubs, but bars. Well, excuse me. Let me back that up. Although she's going for a not like us status. As far as the dissing and everything, I don't care for petty, me personally, you know what I mean? And to me, it was overly petty. However, she got the job done, though, you know what I'm saying? The energy dies for a couple of songs. You can check the album credits and whatnot, but then it spikes again for every time, you know what I mean? Every time, she came back up again, you know what I'm saying? Check Please, a song called Check Please. 9.0 on the beat, 9.0 on the flow. Just too short, in my opinion. And then we got a song called Principle. Now, obviously, when you see the word, because I'm a timeless classic DJ, I'm the DjRon, the classic DJ from the Bay. There was once upon a time when R&B was, really where it was at, and Janet Jackson had that Control album, and Pleasure Principle was one of them songs, and it definitely was a jamming song. So when I see Principle and know that Janet is on there, again, going back to 85, 86, you just had to be there to understand what I'm saying. I was expecting a lot, you know what I mean? The beat, again, 8.5, maybe it could have been a little bit better, but I understand the principle of the beat for Principle. And a 9.5 on the flow, you know what I mean? I just want to know, other than for money, though, who's praying for a beat like Cardi? I mean, she's very personable, you know what I mean? Personality is off the chain, but everything else, not for me. It ends with Up and WAP. These are the last two songs on there, you know what I mean? Up slaps in the party, but I hate a toxic chick. You know what I'm saying? And then WAP, I'm proud to say I never played that in the club. Maybe once or twice at a party, you know what I mean? But, they stayed sitting down and did not move the dance floor on the West Coast. Maybe that's what it is. Again, a coastal thing. I don't know. Maybe there was no WAP in the building. Who knows? You know what I mean? But, I love my sisters and everything else. But the thing about it, though, I love Megan, too. She definitely is a lyricist, especially for the ladies. She always got something to say. But when she said it made it rain to kiss you, he had to make it rain to kiss you, Megan. Pray for Clay, y'all. He left the Bay. Hopefully he haven't forgot how to play. You know what I'm saying? So that's my analysis on the Cardi B album. Definitely a banger. Definitely something to listen to. You know what I mean? 2, maybe 3, skip it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know what I mean? Definitely want to listen to it. And then the next album, Ice Cube, came again with another project called Man Up. Now, before I just really give y'all the real on this one right here, I just got to let you know that Ice Cube quite possibly dropped the album of 2025 already. Although it came out in 2024, the problem is for Cube is that he dropped it on the same day that GNX dropped. Kendrick Lamar dropped GNX. Keep in mind, nobody knew GNX was coming, so Cube probably wasn't privy to that information either. But low-key, though, on a whole, Cube album is as good, if not better, than GNX. Now, go argue with the streets and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all got a lot to say. And please, I love Kendrick. He's in my top 10, as is Ice Cube, though. But that Man Down album, go back and listen to it. You know what I mean? It's a dope album. Sophisticated is my favorite song on that album. I was going to do a review on here because I felt like it didn't get the props it deserved because it was definitely overshadowed by GNX, much like Jill Scott, Sunshine Anderson, Olivia, Blue Contrail, and quite a few other, like 3 or 4 other beautiful ladies were overshadowed by Alicia Keys. It was just her time to shine, as it was with Kendrick Lamar. But this album right here, though, Cube came back. He's out the gate with a song called Manpower, 9.0 on the beat. Shout out to the Bay Area's own EA Ski. You did your thing on that one, you know what I mean? 9.0 on the flow, you know what I mean? And when he said, when he's talking to the lady, I'm using my manpower. I'm not an X chromosome. It's a Y. Yeah, I say, okay, that's a bar. You know what I mean? So shout out to Cube for that one. What you gonna do about it? Beat 9.0. It sounds like a Dr. Dre beat. You know what I'm saying? It really sounds like Dr. Dre. Shout out to that producer. I forgot what the name was, but he know who he is. Did a great job with that. 8.0 on the flow for Cube. You know what I mean? Next song's Freedom. Play on the words freedom, like freedom ring, freedom. 8.0 on the beat. 8.0 on the flow. It's just Cube just talking his talk. You know what I'm saying? Next song is Guess What? Beat was a 9.0, definitely a head bopper, you know what I mean? And an 8.0 on the flow. Simple 8.0 on the flow. The next song. Forget Me If You Ain't With Me. 9.0 on the beat. You know, it's an old school Ice-T or something that Chuck D from Public Enemy would rap on. You know what I mean? And the flow is a 9.0. The stand-up line on this, though, he says it's a cold, cold world when it takes you a step. No, what did he say? How he said? It's a cold, cold world when you take a step back, and when you're about to have an issue, they don't speak up. But when they all have an issue at your funeral, they don't need a tissue. What did he say? I'm reading. Full disclosure, I'm reading. It's a cold, cold world when you take a step back and you're about to have an issue. You take a step back. You got to take a step back when you have an issue, and you don't speak up when they all have an issue, but at your funeral, they don't need a tissue. In other words, talking about that fake love that's out there and everything. Listen to it yourself. See how he say it. You understand where I'm coming from. Before hip hop's the next song, next track. 6.0 on the beat, 6.0 on the flow. You know, I found like the song was true, but the fact is that hip hop did expand violence. Cube, sorry to say. You know what I mean? Rat packs and machine guns were glorified, and it was at that NWA concert in 1988, maybe 89, where De La Soul, front row. You know what I mean? Looking up and seeing the boogers in Pasta Noosa's nose. You know what I'm saying? And then next act was NWA because they were brand new. So they were still low on the totem pole. They start roping off the stage with that yellow crime scene tape like you see at a crime scene, and cue the fights. And they was all over the place. Next thing I know, because of the movement of the crowd and everything, we was up in the stands. So many fights all over the place. Crazy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know how y'all feel about it, but Special Ed was right, Q. The West Coast, when we put the gangster in it, you know, the gangsters took over, period, point blank. You know, unfortunately, it set a precedent for a lot of people to go that most of them wish they had not gone. So, you know, sorry but not sorry. It's just the truth about the matter. But hey, we all love it, right? You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that. Next song, Act My Age. 9.0 on the beat and a 10.0 on the flow. It's definitely age appropriate, no puns intended, but a long-awaited and appreciated reunion collaboration with Scarface. You know what I mean? Ice Cube and Scarface. Hand of the Dead Body was a classic joint. For them to come together again, yeah, y'all did y'all thing. And it wasn't the only collab, though. Face shows up again on the album. I'll talk about it in just a minute. But I like that song, though. Add it to my playlist. RAM. Go look it up. Look up the title on the album. 9.0 on the beat, 10.0 on the flow. It's father figure's game, basically. You know what I mean? Speaking to, like a father figure, you know what I'm saying? Next song was Respect My Space. A little bit of dip, a peak or valley, from the peak to the valley, I should say. 7.0 on the beat, 7.5 on the flow. Something to listen to, though. But then he bounced back with California Dreaming. I gave the beat an 8.5 only because it reminded me of Simpin' and the Pimpin' by a cat named Swoop G out of Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? I definitely need to review that album. Hoping there ain't going to be no copyright strikes. We're going to get that all lined up and everything. But Cube held it down on the microphone with a 9.0, though. So that Swoop G beat might have been a little bit better. The subject matter is, not quite the same. But Cube probably hit that mic a little bit harder than Swoop. So giving Cube a 9.0, I'd have to say Swoop was about 8.5. Both good songs, though. Great sample, too. The next song, that's Salt and Pepper. Man, it beat a 9.5. He sampled the Time on there, and I love the Time. It's my favorite R&B group of all time, male group of all time. But RBL Posse, shout out to RBL from the Bay Area, out of San Francisco. They did it better. And shout out to TC, the producer, too, for doing what he did on that song, Part of Survival. However, though, Cubes is ready for the dance floor. You know what I mean? But the mic was all right, though. You know what I'm saying? It was all right, just an 8.0. I've just never been a fan of Cube's rump shakers, if you will. You know what I mean? It's booty moving music. That's just, we like the old school, kill up everybody Ice Cube. Let's just keep it real, right? Then he got another song called Bring Everybody. You know what I mean? And Bring Everybody is a beat. It's a 7.5 on the beat. It's definitely at the freeway music pace, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you're on your way to the club, it'll have you hype on, hype you up on the way there. You know what I mean? 8.5 is just vintage Cube, boss flow. That's it. That's the best way to describe it, right? Ego. Ego comes back for the third time. It was twice on that last album. This third time on this, and it's the third time that he's recorded it. But this time though, this time he comes with Scarface, you know what I mean, flowing for the first time, and another cat. I can't remember the name, and I didn't make a note, but he was saying a little something too, though. So you know what I'm saying. Bottom line, I guess he ain't done milking that cow. And again, shout out to EA Ski, 9.5 on the beat, 9.5 on the flow. Just a great song. So the last song though is actually all work and no play. 4.0 on the beat is the worst use of Atomic Dog that I think I've ever heard. You know what I mean? However, he did say something on the microphone. I barely made it through the song. I was actually doing something where I couldn't hit the skip button or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I want to know how y'all feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I want to know how y'all feel about these albums, especially if you go listen to it for yourself. You know, double back and then let me know, you know, if you agree or whatnot. You know what I mean? If you skip it or, you know what I mean, or keep it. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me, and I definitely talk back. So as far as getting ready to roll out, I want to give a shout out to the fam. Y'all know who y'all are. You know what I mean? Y'all the ones that keep the sound check moving. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate all that y'all have done with me, and I hope y'all appreciate what I'm doing with y'all. If you want to see your name up here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment. You know what I mean? And I'll see you. I'll shout you out. You understand what I'm saying? It's just as simple as that. So, look, the sound check is complete now. Respect the classics. Much respect to the classics. But we're checking for the new ones as well. You know what I'm saying? So this has been Sound Check, where the music speaks, we listen. It's DJ Ron, the classic DJ from the Bay, and I'm sideways to the next light. Until the next time, check the sound.
I represent the Yay area.